Woods Supercast. Today we have in our studio Dr. Tamara Ragland, who is the Director of Teaching and Learning for grades 7 through 12. And we have Tanya Bray, who is the Director of Student Services. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
And today, what I want to make sure we talk about is the way students have been going to school is changing. Of course, it started out different this year. Because of needs for social distancing and for everyone to stay safe for COVID-19, they started online, right?
Correct.
And that explains, by the way, why we're sitting so far apart in the studio and why we're wearing our trendy masks, because we're still doing that. But there's been some changes, and they're going to start school a new way now. It's time to go to the next phase.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about what's changing.
So actually, our first part of our change is going to happen tomorrow. So we have smaller groups of students who will be coming back tomorrow for the first time. And then, and I should say, of those students, their parents chose blended. So if I back up a little bit, we sent out a survey to parents. Our parents chose to either remain virtual or to now go blended. And those who chose blended, some will return tomorrow, and some will return in a staggered way. Some will return next week. And so next week will be our second week, and we'll have our first full week as a blended model with our Warrior Blue Day being Monday, Tuesday, a virtual Wednesday, and our Warrior Green Day being Thursday, Friday.
So there'll still be some online.
Yes.
And I think it's key to say that there was a parent survey as part of this.
Correct.
The district is making decisions with the parents, listening to the parents. There was a big change from the beginning of the year when you talked to the parents and they said, no, we're not really ready now. And now there's a new feeling. Now there's a big group of parents that are saying, okay, we're ready so long as we know you're being safe and distant
Right.
and all of those. And so the staggering is a way that you can keep them, create a little more space.
Correct.
Correct. So Dr. Ragland stated that there will be green days, there'll be blue days. So 2 in person, 2 virtual, and then that Wednesday is virtual for all students. So that's another opportunity for the district to continue to do a deep cleaning, although we clean every single day. But Wednesdays will allow us for that break to make sure that the district is doing a full cleansing and cleaning for the entire district when the students come back for that next 2 days, the Thursday, Friday day.
So there's students that'll be in each day except for Wednesday.
Correct.
Correct.
Wednesday there will be no students in the building.
Correct.
And the rest of the students that are coming in, the rest of the days, half the students will be there one of the days, and the other half the others. They'll go back and forth.
Right.
Yes. These are our most vulnerable students who really need to access our curriculum, who really need to be there in person, especially those students who have more than 2 related services, such as speech, OT, PT. Those students really, really need that support. And it's really difficult for some of our parents at home to provide those services via virtual or remote. So being in person definitely springboards those students into the next level for instruction.
I'm glad you said that, because we think about school, of course we primarily focus on the academic instruction. Mm-hmm. We want them back in their rooms so that they're connected and they can more easily learn the way they're used to.
Mm-hmm.
But students get so much more than that at school, and the district is providing, you said speech therapy and all kinds of different extra services, and some of those are not things that we're able to go home with them.
Correct.
Right.
So to be able to bring them back in means they can start getting back up to speed and with the connections that they needed.
Right, and
Right.
trying to close the gap as much as we can for the time that was lost during COVID starting in March. So in addition to that, we're looking at the social and emotional support too for those kiddos who have been out and have not been able to be around their peers. And that's another great part that our students are missing by not being in person, is being around peers. And believe it or not, they learn that peer-to-peer group learning, and so they need that socialization. And so with a lot of mental health issues that go along with this COVID season, we have those support systems in place as well.
So tell me what it's going to look like in the classroom for the kids on their days in the room. Of course, they still have at least a day at home. But what's it going to look like in the classroom? Is it going to look the same as when they left in March, or is it going to be anything different?
No, it's going to be different. So first let me say what it looks like at the elementary level will be different than what it looks like at the secondary level. So we will have some buildings where it was feasible to where we have self-contained classrooms in the elementary levels. And so there will be some teachers who will take in-person groups and others who will take virtual groups. And they were able to do that because it was cost neutral for them to do that, meaning that we didn't have to add extra staff. So at the secondary levels where we aren't self-contained and students travel, throughout their day to various teachers, that wasn't feasible. And so what it will look like there is very different, and we will have students who are in the classroom as well as students who are virtual, and they will be there showing up in class at the same time together. And so that does fit our workshop model, which is part of project-based learning. Our teachers do have singleton classes, but they have the help of their grade level or departmental team in order to work together and build that support. So for example, if I teach 7th grade science, my other team members who also teach 7th grade science, we can build content together and share it and collaborate on that material and share it with each other. In other instances, we have co-teachers. So for example, our ELA, social studies, we have combined classes. And so we have 2 teachers and 2 bells. Those teachers can then divvy up and share responsibilities, working in between and with both groups of students.
In a way, this has really had the staff and the teachers and the administrative doing the same kind of collaborative learning that you've always encouraged the students to do.
Right.
And now you're using some of those platforms more for your own development as well as what the students do when they have to work together and create a project.
Right.
Do you see the students appreciating that they're looking, that the thing you set up for them to do is also the thing that they're looking at everyone doing right now?
Yeah, I think there is a greater appreciation that the adults are now really in the mix of doing what the students do every day. I have a daughter who attends Winton Woods City Schools, and she actually said that, like, Mom, you're doing PBL. And I'm like, yes, we are, every day. Mm-hmm. The team at Winton Woods has been working very hard to try to put this together for our students to return. And it is a collaboration piece with parents, with even students getting their take, and the teachers and other team members and administrators. Mm-hmm. So it is a collaboration.
So I want to say where folks can get all of the information, because now it's a time where parents need to know things like, am I a blue family or am I a green family, and which days, and how do I connect the other days? And you have everything in one spot that they can look to answer all their questions. And that one spot is what? wintonwoods.org/return. Exactly. So we have that on the screen, wintonwoods.org/return. So that's a nice, easy place to go find everything.
Correct.
And the biggest thing to make sure is right now, this new system is all carefully designed to keep kids distanced and safe as we're still figuring things out, which means the first thing to check with your kid every morning isn't anymore, did you bring your homework and did you pack your lunch, but it's, how do you feel?
Correct.
You don't want any sick kids coming to school, because that won't help this whole system at all.
Right.
But there's information on that webpage.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
If I wake up in the morning and my kid is sick, what am I supposed to do today? That information is in there.
Correct.
And that's key.
Right.
And I just want to say it, I mean, I know we always say this and we always hope, but in the busyness of the morning and getting your kid out to school, you're making sure they have their homework, you're making sure they brought some food, you're making sure they found their shoes and all of those things, and you don't always think to do things like, wait, how are you feeling today?
Right.
Right.
And that's something that we maybe need to put a sticky note by the front door and say, do a wellness check
Right.
before we
Right.
put the kid on the bus or
Right.
drive off to school.
And this is our new normal. So masks is key. And so we're following CDC, we're following Hamilton County, the health department in collaboration with their educational piece. So we work almost daily with them to help us come up with new ideas or any new updates that come down from CDC, if the numbers are increasing or declining. Everything that we're doing to bring the students back and to keep them back in the schools, we are in collaboration with the health departments.
And that's key. That's how this change we're looking at right now came about. That it was partly because the parents surveyed were more ready, but it was partly because the county changed its
Correct.
emergency level.
Yes.
On August the 7th, we went from red to orange. And so we had announced our plan prior to that, July the 27th at that board meeting. But because of that transition and because our parents indicated through a subsequent survey that they felt more comfortable returning, so yes, we are transitioning back slowly to school.
And if we can do this interview in our masks, then we know that the kids can be ready. And I'm sure a lot of them have been practicing already
Yes.
to get their masks ready and get used to wearing them. And that's another thing that the parents can do at home is have some practice time to, especially the younger kids, might need some practice getting used to what this feels like.
Right.
And get some practice seeing us. I'm hoping that seeing us wear it right now comfortably is another way to make this as just another normal part of their day. Because like you said, this is now a normal part of our day.
Right. Right.
And I also want to add, I think that the virtual aspect of education is going to become part of our new normal as well. Because now that we have the technology and the hotspots that we provided to our students, even if a student is ill for any reason, or if we have a calamity day, you know, there's a lot of snow, we really have the capability now to be able to reach any student regardless of their location.
Absolutely. All of the sudden changes that had to be made, and that made it difficult, the suddenness of it.
Right.
But now that those things are in place, these are levels of technology that the students, and of course every office is using them too, which means the students are going to be that much more comfortable in that scenario also. And we did get to interview a couple of the students last time in the studio, and they talked about their mom is also doing online school. And they talked about how it was interesting to them to watch mom figure this out. To them, they already knew how to do this.
Right.
I can talk to my friends on a computer. I know how to listen to a teacher on the computer, and for their mom it was a new thing she had to learn how to do. So there was a little bit of reversal in their traditional roles in the household while they maybe helped their mom figure out what to do next. So
Yes.
that's been a neat side effect that some of the students got to see happen in their houses.
Right.
Yes.
You know, generally, we can't say if they're positive or negative or one way or the other. However, but what they can do to be safe, if they're not sure, is to keep your child at home, so it's not affecting any other staff member or any other student. And then if they're confused about the green and blue days, again, contact their classroom teacher just to make sure what days their students should be attending.
Absolutely. How about you? Do you have anything you'd like to make sure they get to hear?
I would just say that their Chromebooks are their lifeline, regardless of where they are. Make sure that they bring their Chromebooks every day, if that's what's required by their classroom teacher, charged, and be prepared and ready to go.
That and charged is a key there
Yes,
too.
charged.
Having the Chromebook doesn't help if it's not charged.
Correct.
That's a good point.
Yes.
And you're right. When your kid is sick, you don't know as a teacher if that child is sick and testing positive for anything. You just know they're sick. And it's the same with the parent at home. So if they're sick, there's no second guessing it. They can learn at home that day. And like you said, the foundation has already been laid that they actually can keep learning even if they're at home. And they won't
Exactly.
necessarily miss out. And that was part of the, well, you gotta go. So that's a good thing for parents to know. Don't try to guess if they're sick, is COVID sick or some other kind of sick. If they're sick, just stay home.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
And that's key. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for coming
Thank
in. I
you.
really just wanted to take a few minutes so we could talk about what's changing. It's really great to see the district being ready to change as new information is available, and as the parents are telling you they need something else. The district is hearing it and making the arrangements they need to shift. And for a whole school district with this many students to be ready to shift, it takes a lot of concerted effort. So it's really neat to see that happen.
Yes, and we're excited to have them back. We're looking forward to having them.
I've been hearing from the students that they can't wait to go, that they're looking forward to seeing their teachers and seeing their friends.
Mhm.
So I know this will be an exciting thing for them as when they look into their semester. But for the parents, just knowing that you are listening to them, I think is the thing that's
Right.
most exciting.
Right.
Yes.
And of course, right now we're really focused on wintonwoods.org/return, because that's where all the details are about how this
Yes.
process is going to work.
Yes.
And thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
having
for having
us.
us.
No time.